If you've ever been to LA, you know it's nearly impossible to avoid the city's notorious freeway traffic. It's 24/7. With hundreds of thousands of drivers on the road each day, accidents are bound to happen. And as you're about to see, lives as well as metal can get tangled in a collision. The Drake family knew Interstate 10 well. Joe drove it every day to get to his job at an auto body shop. Patricia took the freeway to see her grandkids. On September 29, 2006, they were on their way home from a friend's place.
We had my nephews and my son in the back of the vehicle. We were in a pickup truck.
We were on the 10 East freeway on the slow lane, driving around 60, 65 miles an hour. Around midnight.
Meanwhile, Jesus de la Heron had just made some cash from a real estate deal. Cops say he was on the 10 on a drunken joyride in his new Corvette. He'd just gotten off probation 2 weeks earlier for a DUI offense, but had not learned his lesson. Cops say De La Heron slammed into the Drakes at 130 miles an hour.
We were just flying up in the sky like we were on a roller coaster. Everybody was saying, we're gonna die, we're gonna die. A second later, a very second later, there's no one in the rear seat anymore.
We were the last two people in the vehicle, and I asked my husband to pray.
So I looked up to the sky and I said, lying on that freeway, I forgot even the name of God.
But God didn't forget the Drakes. Amazingly, everyone in the truck survived. Now, believe it or not, as Joe and his family were struggling for their lives, witnesses saw Jesus de la Heron get out of his mangled Corvette and calmly walk off the freeway. And if you think he was going to get some help, think again. As if nothing had happened, this creep went searching for more drinks. He showed up at a nightclub and stayed until last call. Then he walked to a nearby restaurant where he made this 911 call in an attempt to cover his tracks.
Yeah, hi. I was calling because someone stole my Corvette tonight around 11:30, and I was wondering if someone's going to come make a report and maybe give me a ride home or something.
What happened? I was in the club. Somebody pretty much pulled a gun on me and said, hey, you got to drive your car, and that's it. So what have you been doing for the past 2.5 hours? Well, they said if I call the cops right away, they'll kill me, so I kind of hung around for a while. That's right after they smashed my face in the brick wall down the street. What else could I do? All right, I'll send somebody to go speak with you.
Okay. Red Corvette?
When Officer Robert Martinez of the California Highway Patrol was sent to take his story down, he realized De La Heron matched the description of the man who'd left the Drakes to die.
Yeah, it's been crazy, man. I've been all night without a car. I don't even have a ride to get home. This is like a 2006 red Corvette, special edition. One you don't have to need a key to start it.
The guys who took your car, do you think you can give me a description?
Yeah, it's kind of dark, but those guys, they kind of look like me, you know? That's all I remember, though.
You said your car comes with keyless ignition, but you still need a key to send a signal to turn it on. Is that your car key?
So maybe I was wrong. I don't know, I can't remember, man. Maybe I didn't start the engine.
Officer Martinez played his hunch that De La Heron had been injured in the crash.
Do me a favor, lift up your shirt.
No, I'm okay. I mean, that's
I just want to make sure you don't have any injuries from the attack.
Great police work, because cops say he had injuries that would have been caused by a seatbelt during impact. De La Heron was taken into custody, but stunningly, a judge let this repeat DUI offender out on bail, possibly paving the way for him to drink and drive again.
This guy, I believe, is just evil. He's like the devil, he disappeared.
The Drakes may have survived the crash, but neither one of them made it out in one piece.
Nicole, you want to eat? Soup?
Joe lost his right leg. Patricia, her left arm.
Our main goal in our life was just to bring up our grandchildren and live a good, successful, happy life. And he took that all away from us. He took away my American dream. I feel like a freak. I feel like an animal. It feels like we died and went to hell.
It's very hard to live a normal life when you're handicapped. It was a very, very ugly thing to happen to a mom and dad. Because it's very hard to live like this daily. Eat all your soup, okay?
I wanted to meet Patricia and Joseph in person so badly to tell you how proud I am of your courage, of how you've kept this family together and overcome these giant obstacles, probably for your children and grandchildren, haven't you?
Yes.
And you're still battling.
Well, it's been so much of a battle in our lives. It's been affected us spiritually, physically, financially, mentally. It destroyed our life totally.
But the two of you have helped each other.
She's my better half. Without her, I couldn't go on. So me and Patricia became one flesh. She don't have an arm and I don't have a leg, but we suffered through it together. And by the grace of the Lord Jesus, we are here today.
You're a hell of a team, though. And I know that our viewers have caught people with less information than we have on Jesus, and I think they're going to end that run tonight. And God bless you for your strength and courage. All right. Tonight, we're going to take down the man who brought so much tragedy to this family. Here's the clues to bring Jesus De La Heron to justice. De La Heron loves fast cars and hard liquor and may still be working in real estate, either in California or Las Vegas, where he likes hanging out. If you know where Jesus De La Heron may be hiding tonight, call us at 1-800-CRIME-TV.
Later.
I won't quit till I find this.
How far would you go to get answers if your child vanished? We'll join one determined father on a journey to the dark side.
You know, there's been so much going on here at AMW this new year that a pretty big milestone almost went unnoticed. And it all had to do with a prison escapee out of Massachusetts. Manson Brown was serving a 10-year sentence for armed robbery when he got word that his DNA had been matched to a rape case. Afraid of serving more jail time, Brown busted out of prison on November 27th. He stayed in the wind for more than a month, until the evening of January 3rd. That's when an alert AMW viewer recognized him at a gas station down in Georgia and called police. Cops quickly arrived at the scene. Just like that, Manson Brown became our 1100th capture. Great work. Now, Brown's takedown shows once again how our partnership really works. So let's saddle up again and put another guy back behind bars. But this time, he'll see prison like never before. Tom Morris has our story.
The guards who keep America's violent felons locked down have to be tough. Any slip could end in injury, death, or escape. 6'3", 270-pound James Turner was one of those men dedicated to keeping some of Texas's worst criminals behind bars. For 18 years, James worked as a corrections officer near Houston, a man with one foot in a dark, cold world, and the other firmly planted in family life with his loving wife, Keitha. James Turner married into an evangelical Christian family, a family completely devoted to ministry, education, and helping those in need. His in-laws, the Reverend Dr. Gene and Betty Jo Frank, founded the Church of Living Waters
here in Rosenberg, Texas, 30 years ago.
My mom would always say that everybody is on their own journey, and we just need to love them, we need to encourage them, and our prayer is that their journey leads to God.
With that loving Christian spirit, his wife's family accepted the not too religious James Turner unconditionally.
He was very quiet. Over the years, though, talked a lot about sports. There was a season where he was coaching basketball here at our school.
Over their 14-year marriage, the Turners raised 4 beautiful children: Carissa, Jairus, Hayden, and little Kennedy. All attend the church's state-accredited school where Keitha served as principal. By outward appearances, the Turners seemed happy and loving, but beneath the surface, the marriage was unraveling because of Turner's paranoid behavior.
It's very jealous in a sick kind of way. If he saw her talking to a father of the school, he didn't like that. And I mean, where they would be arguing all night long about it.
And Jennifer says that when he wasn't working at the prison, James would secretly keep tabs on his wife at the church.
This is Keitha's desk, and this is where she would sit. And right in here is a back room. And this is where he would come and he would hide and spy on her, listen to her.
But the hell Jennifer says she saw Turner put his wife through at the church was nothing compared to what the Turner children say their father did at home.
It got really bad, so we were gonna leave, and as we were walking to the car, my dad came out and stopped her and kind of dragged her, and he had a knife in his hand. And I remember that, and I remember going to the bathroom and seeing a scratch on my mom's throat, and that's what scared me.
And he would tell his children that I was in the Army. You know, I can do this and get away with it. I can do anything I want.
Christmas Eve 2009, the Turner and Frank families celebrated the holidays like they always did. James sat and chatted with Reverend Frank about football. Gifts were exchanged. But James had no idea it would be the last Christmas he'd spend with this family. Keitha had had enough. On December 26th, she and her children secretly moved out while he was at work. They went to her parents' house and settled down for what they thought would be their first peaceful night in a long time. But just before midnight, cops say their first night of freedom suddenly exploded into chaos.
This is the bedroom where the first assault took place with Keitha, the mother of the children.
I heard my mom scream.
He slashed her throat.
And as soon as I heard that, I jumped up, and the first door I came to was my grandmother's.
He proceeded into the hallway where he was met by his mother-in-law.
My grandma was telling him that he could get help and Jesus loves him.
She was pretty much attacked, thrown into this wall right here, and choked.
He stabbed her once in the chest and then sliced her throat also.
And he kept just telling her to shut up.
And she fell in the hallway.
My dad just went down the stairs and left.
Carissa's grandmother died in her arms.
But I saw my mom, and she was still alive, coming out of the house. So I still had hope for her.
But it was not to be. Her mom didn't make it. Reverend Gene Frank was stabbed in the head, but did survive his wounds. These haunting pictures of the traumatized children were taken by detectives that night. 3 days later, police found James Turner's car submerged in a Georgia river. There was no one inside it.
Yeah.
Darren Frank and his wife Camilla are now raising his nieces and nephew. Since Christmas, this family has endured unimaginable horror, pain, and loss. But they can still smile, and their faith remains strong.
They're like family to us.
It's hard to even think about the loss because I have 4 children that I'm keeping care of, to let them be able to sleep at night, to let them know that they're safe.
This family will have no real sense of closure or relief until Turner is behind bars, this time as an inmate. Police think Turner ditched his car in the river to fake his own death. He's an NFL fanatic who likes to bet on football games and work out. Turner smokes Marlboro Lights and goes by the nickname T. If you know anything about him, call us right now at 1-800-CRIME-TV.
Coming up.
I'm a dad who loves his daughter, and I want that girl back.
One man leaves the world he knows for a...
It's not a picture any father should have to have in his head of his daughter, and it hurts.
You can help ease his pain. Next.
I'd seen Leah and spoken with her.
On the streets and in her church, she's known as Sister Paula.
Fight for them, to fast for them, to not...
A woman who preaches to prostitutes. But to John Peebles, she's the last known person to have seen Leah alive.
I did come in contact with Leah, and I saw her go from better to worse. That's what happens when you're out there and you get bound up by an addiction.
When would you say the last time was that you saw her?
I believe the last time I saw her was in 2006.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
It was not the news John had hoped for. Since Sister Paula hadn't seen Leah in more than 3 years, John realized Leah was like...
This whole experience has definitely changed me forever. I don't see people the same way. I don't judge people the same way. I don't see a prostitute as just a prostitute. I see a prostitute as someone who had hopes and dreams, a girl that wanted a lot of the same things any girl wants. And men just use them.
Up next. DNA linked 2 cold murder cases. Now, can your tips link cops to the killer?
I recently told you the story of a troubling murder mystery that linked 3 crime scenes several years and hundreds of miles apart. I met with the cops that were working the case, and they showed you all of the key clues, including one piece of evidence they were revealing for the very first time. Well, your response gave those cops one answer they were looking for and brought them one step closer to solving this case. It was a case that began in 1990 in Greenville, South Carolina. Cops found Jenny Zatricki dead in her apartment and a series of clues that would haunt them for nearly 2 decades. One was a threatening message on Jenny's mirror, supposedly left by the killer himself. It had all the makings of a personal attack. In 2007, when Detective Tim Conroy inherited this now cold case, he made a hot new discovery. The DNA left at the scene matched 2 murders in Portageville, Missouri in 1998 and could be linked to an attempted murder in Dyersburg, Tennessee. So investigators from South Carolina, Tennessee, and Missouri teamed up to hunt down an elusive serial killer. Now, Sergeant Phil... Last September, these detectives joined me in our crime lab, picking apart a series of clues, including the mirror.
The marking could have only been left by the killer. It appears that he was wearing latex gloves. To a piece of evidence.
And another clue that had never been made public before.
12 days after Jenny was killed, there were a pair of rubber gloves found outside of her apartment complex, along with this picture of a young female.
You need to find out who this lady is, right here. When we showed you that photo, our hotline lit up. Call after call told Detective Tim Conroy the same thing. A lot of people in Greenville knew who this woman was.
So you ran into her in 92 and 93?
Look at her eyebrows, the way she's not changed her eyebrows.
Detective Conroy wasted no time. The next morning, from his hotel room, with the other detectives present, he called the woman. She quickly confirmed what our tipsters had said.
It is me.
It is you?
I looked it up online. It's me.
Okay.
It's taken in the Villa apartment.
Okay.
My husband lived there before we got married.
Do you have any idea how it would have gotten outside of your apartment?
I have no idea.
Okay.
It scares me to death. It makes me think somebody was in there.
The woman asked us to conceal her identity as cops continue their search. Her fear is justified because she now knows for some reason someone got into her apartment and stole that picture. And her apartment was just a block away from the complex where Jenny Zitrecki was killed. So now the question became, was it Jenny's killer who stole the photo? If so, cops now have to figure out who would have had access to this woman's apartment and also have the desire to brutally murder Jenny Zitrecki. So now, thanks to your tips, the focus of this investigation has gotten broader. Here's a map that can give us some idea what cops are looking at now. Here's the apartment complex where that picture disappeared from. The photo was found next to the gloves right here, next to Jenny Zitrecki's apartment complex. It seems like too much of a coincidence for cops to find that photo and the gloves just steps from a murder scene, where cops believe Jenny's killer used the same type of gloves. Now cops are hoping to speak to anybody who lived in either of these complexes or knew anyone who had access to the apartment units. Maintenance men, contractors, anybody. And one more thing. Cops believe the killer may have had access to a dark-colored conversion van. If any of these clues sound familiar, please give us a call at 1-800-CRIME-TV.
Coming up, her harrowing ordeal became one of our most unforgettable stories. Now, you'll see how the story ends.
Cops in Oklahoma say Lester Hobbs murdered his wife, then kidnapped her 7-year-old daughter. Call if you've seen him. It takes a special kind of person to rush into danger to save the life of a stranger. First responders like cops, firefighters, and emergency workers are true all-American heroes, the nation's real all-star team. Once again, it's time to recognize that and to thank them in a special way. So I'm happy to announce the 6th annual AMW All-Star Award, sponsored by Sprint and chosen by you. If you know someone who deserves the All-Star Award this year, we want to hear from you. We'll start taking your nominations on Wednesday, February 3rd. Log on to our website at amw.com to nominate your local hero. Any first responders eligible. Just tell us who they are and why you think they're an all-star. Then in May, your votes will determine who becomes the 2010 AMW All-Star. I'll meet the winner at the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series All-Star Challenge in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I'll present them with a check from Sprint for $10,000. So get ready to nominate your all-star starting February 3rd at amw.com. You know, in the 23 years we've been on the air, I've met a lot of incredible people. And one brave woman I'll never forget is Christina Steinbergs. We followed her harrowing story from its frightening beginning and now to its inspirational final act. In the darkest of night, police storm a house in central Mexico. They're following up on a good tip. A caller told them a violent rapist sleeps here. His name is Rufino Castaneda, and cops in 2 countries have been searching for him for almost a decade. Their hunt began far away in the small town of Mishawaka, Indiana, on what should have been a quiet November night in 2000. Christina Steinbergs, a 24-year-old college student, had gone out with some friends that night and was enjoying a few games of pool.
I went up to the front to where the bar is at to get my drink that I had won.
Hey, what's going on?
Hi.
You look good. Muy caliente.
I've never seen you aquí, mamacita.
I really couldn't understand a lot of the words that they were saying because it was mostly in Spanish. But I was still just trying to be nice. One of the gentlemen started tugging me toward the door.
That man was Rufino Castaneda. He forced Christina into his car, and they sped off into the most terrifying night of her life. Castaneda's destination was an empty house in nearby South Bend, a place where no one would be a witness to what he was about to do.
I just took pictures. I just kept snapping photos in my head. Where I was at, where I turned at, all of that stuff. That's all that I could use to focus on, to keep my mind from going insane, that this is happening to me. I know what's gonna happen now. Every woman's, nightmare.
Christina somehow found the strength to fight back.
I kicked that son of a gun across the room and it flew him back.
¿Cómo se siente, huh?
I could feel like all this blood and heat coming through my eyes. This was it. This is how I'm gonna go out. And I thought, no, you have no right to take that from me. No, you pissant. So again, I grabbed my leg and I took it and right in his gut. Bang! Shot that SOB across the floor. Knocked him right on his booty. That's when my mind, it flipped back to, remember every way that you came in here.
Christina escaped into the streets stark naked and ran for her life.
Help me!
Luckily, she found a payphone, and when police arrived, those pictures she took in her mind paid off.
You have to take me back there. That's it.
She's the reason why we had a suspect, because she showed us the house.
As quickly as Christina was able to help cops, Castaneda fled, but Christina refused to give up.
You can run and you can hide, but we're gonna get you, guaranteed.
She showed that determination the night her story first aired on AMW.
I'm not a piece of China. I was there. Nothing can break me worse than when I was there. Nothing. And if I have to go through that every day of my life until the day that man is put behind bars, I'm gonna do it.
In 2005, it looked like her wait was over. Tips led police to a small Mexican village, and sure enough, they found Castaneda. But things didn't quite work out as planned.
He was confronted by Mexican federal agents. As I understand it, they almost got killed or seriously injured trying to apprehend him because apparently the whole village became involved. Mamacita.
That allowed Castaneda to escape, and he disappeared.
¿Dónde estás, Snow White?
Was he in hiding, looking to be in the shadows to get me maybe when I leave my house, when I'm at the grocery store? Or is he out doing other women the same things that he was doing to me?
Christina lived with that fear for 2 more years before the tip she waited for finally came in. The caller said Castaneda was in a small village not far from where cops had tried to grab him the first time. Police were ready for anything, this time with a SWAT team 40 deep. This time there was no one to stand between the accused rapist and the law. Handcuffed, barefoot, and in his boxer shorts, Castaneda was marched into custody.
¿Sabes por qué estás detenido?
Sí.
¿Y por qué?
Por violación.
¿En dónde?
En Estados Unidos.
It was almost 7 years to the day since Castaneda had kidnapped and raped Christina in Indiana. When we showed her the video of Castaneda in cuffs, it was an emotional moment.
I hope everybody can maybe feel what I'm feeling right now. Those that have not been able to find their predator that's hurt them, that they can feel what I'm feeling right now, because I'm on top of the world right now.
As Christina celebrated, U.S. Marshals carted Castaneda back to the United States. But the story wasn't over. Christina still had to face her attacker in court.
I thought that I would forget bits and pieces, it being so long, but something like this never leaves you.
Cameras weren't allowed in the courtroom, but Christina's haunting testimony helped convince a jury to convict Castaneda. Next up, the statement she'd have to make at the sentencing hearing. Words that were tough to say, but that she'll never forget.
I ask you today for the mercy that I deserve, because it is me, the victim, that was taken wrongfully, harmed, and almost killed, and give me the justice that I deserve by giving him the full sentence that the court could possibly give him.
Christina's pleas worked. The judge sentenced Castaneda to 55 years.
I survived, and that I'm forever grateful to God that somehow I did find the strength to fight this man. But to actually have him be punished, for him to pay for what he's done. I don't gloat in other people's sorrow, but this one, I'm loving it.
Christina, believe me, you're not gloating. You fought back hard every step of the way, and you deserve to enjoy every bit of your victory. Too many women have faced a similar horror and ridden the same emotional roller coaster as you, but sadly, not enough of them have made it through with your grit and determination. God bless you. Good luck. Stay positive. You're a real inspiration to us all. This week, I traveled to Haiti as part of an effort to help reunite families torn apart by the earthquake that ravaged that small country.
It's just tough for us.
You came.
Hey.
Save lives.
Thanks, Frank.
God bless you. What I saw broke my heart. So many families separated. So many children need our help. Tonight, I'm asking all of you to do all that you can, because these families are depending on us. Now, we won't be here next week, but until I see you back here in 2 weeks, please stay safe, stay strong, and remember, you can make a difference.